Hi everyone, and welcome to another live lesson with me, Matt Stead, or our last Melodic Monday. I hope you're all keeping well where you are. Let me know how you're doing, whether the weather's warm, cold, uh, whether you're having fun with your ukulele. And don't forget, if you can, join in the live chat. So just go on when you're on YouTube, just look for the little option at top. It might say top chat at the moment. If you change it to live chat, you'll be able to see all the messages coming in and you'll be able to join in the community chat, which will be fabulous. Let's say hi to a few people. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Karen. Hope you're doing well. Just lurking tonight. Yeah, no worries, Karen. It's surprising the amount you can learn just by listening. Anyway, I always think that when I listen to audiobooks and things. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Laura. Brilliant, fantastic. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look at Wildwood Flower, which is one of my favourite traditional songs, kind of made popular by the Carter family, is probably the most famous version. Alison, is it? Yeah, Alison Krauss did a really nice version recently as well of her band, which is lovely. I think it's on the same album she did I'll Fly Away. It's really, really pretty as well. But it's one of those songs that just about everyone's had a cover of over the years. And I'll teach you how to use a technique as well, a Clawhammer technique, which should be really great. Good stuff, David. Good stuff. David's restrung his tenor, so he's raring to go. Fabulous. And raining in Bergen. Oh no, Anna. Oh, rubbish. I'll try and send some of my sunshine your way. We've got it over here quite nicely. Jane is just saying a bit of reverb. Has anyone else got a bit of reverb coming through? I'm trying to think what that might be. I think I've only got the one mic on. Let me know, guys, and I'll see if I can sort it otherwise. So after this week, we're going to go back to weekly canacapelas. But with these canacapelas, I'm going to involve a little bit more kind of riffs and chord melody and soloing work. So if you're a bit more advanced and you really enjoy this side of things, don't worry, you won't be left out. But I thought having those regular every single week on a Monday, apart from bank holidays or when I'm away or poorly or whatever, it really helps to get everyone kind of into the habit of coming along Monday evening and having a whole load of fun. So we shall make sure everyone's involved in those. But we'll be back to weekly canacapelas from there. So fantastic. Oh, it doesn't seem to be any reverb of anyone else. Might just be worth checking your speaker settings just to double check. So that's the plan going forward. But I do have something in the pipeline as well to get some more chord melody work into some special sessions. But I'm keeping it under my hat because I haven't quite decided when to do that. But there will be some cool stuff coming up. And of course, we're going to keep our fortnightly lessons as well. So something for everyone. And for those that have been asking for ages and ages, we're finally going to put the chords in with the lyrics on Canacapela as well to make it a bit less of a hard-on ramp for beginners joining us as well. Just a couple of other announcements ever so quickly before we get started. We've got our next live lesson next Wednesday. So not this Wednesday coming, but the Wednesday after, October 8th. I can't believe it's going to be October this week. It's mad. October 8th, 3:30, we're going to look at Trouble in Mind, which is one of my favourite blues songs. And most often blues songs are 12-bar blues. That's the most common form of the blues. But 8-bar blues is a really, really nice form of the blues, often overlooked. So we're going to really dig into that, which should be fantastic. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, we'll get them in there if we can. Absolutely. Hi, Karen. Hi, Linda. Hope you're doing a bit better. I hope you keep the colds on its way out. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're doing tonight then. I'll bring it on screen. If you haven't already downloaded the worksheets, all members can get them for free on my website. I'll keep it up on screen as well so you can see what we're going to do. And basically what we're going to do is first of all just learn the melody itself, which is really pretty actually, and a really lovely melody. We'll talk about the 1, 4, 5 chords a little bit. Then we're going to look at doing it clawhammer style with a very specific technique where we hammer onto the string So I'll dig into that and show you the best way to do that, which should be good. Yeah, this is my new Kamaka, Kevin. Yeah, it's I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I sold one of these a few years ago and regretted it ever since. So yeah, I love a Kamaka, especially with the sail headstock. That's super sweet. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you my style of playing, where I hit notes both on the on and the off beat, which kind of creates a really nice smooth style. It's kind of based on Pete Seeger's way of finger picking banjo. I really like those up picks, so we'll do a bit of that as well. So what I'll do is I'll just give you a rough kind of version so you can see how it sounds. Don't worry if this seems a bit too tricky or anything. I'm going to break it down. I'm not expecting you to do it this tempo straight away, but it'll sound something like this. Let me just... Here we go. Something like that. Give you the idea. It's just so much fun. I love playing kind of Clawhammer and that kind of flailing style. It's just so joyous, and it kind of makes your ukulele sound like two or more instruments, which is really good fun as well. So let's break it down. Let's have a look first of all at the basic chords and the piece, and then we'll go one step at a time. Don't forget, ask lots of questions. It takes a while for them to appear my end, but they do come through. So any questions for any of this, just ping them through in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, fantastic. Oh, thanks, Charlene. Thank you. So let's have a look at the chords first. This is a really simple chord, really simple song in terms of the chord structure based on the 1, 4, 5 chords. Anyone that comes to my regular canacapelas will know that the 1 chord is based on the first note of the scale. We're playing this in C major, so just think C, D, E, F, G, A and B. And in any key, the 1st, 4th and the 5th chords are major chords. Sometimes the 5th is played as a dominant 7. That just means like a G7 instead of a G. So really, really simple chords. And in the key of C, we've got C is the 1 chord, F is the 4 chord, and G is the 5 chord. And each of those has its own personality. The 1 chord feels at home or it's resolved. The 4 chord gives a feeling of subtle change, and the 5 chord is about tension. So basically, right from the off, we can see that in action because we have the 1 chord, da 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 da, going to the 5 chord, sorry, G7, da 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 da. So that's basically, we are home, there is tension and back home. Okay, if you want to strum along for this, you could do any kind of strum really. We're going to get into the picking, so it's not going to be about strumming. You could just keep it simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go back again. That will sound like this for the verse, just so you get an idea. I'll stay on close camera so you can see the chords. I will twine with my mingles and raven black hair. Then we do it again. With the roses so red and the lilies so fair. Then we go on to the next section. The myrtle's so bright with the emerald dew. So notice there we've got the 1 chord to the 4 chord and back again. Just a nice kind of polite change. I'll do that again. And the myrtle's so bright with the emerald dew. And then 1, 5, 1 again. And the and the leader, eyes look so blue. So let's just play through a couple of verses of that, just for fun, just to get us going. I'm just going to move my seat up. For some reason, my seat, I think it needs fixing. It's one of those office chairs that spins round and round, but it seems to start at this height and end up like that by the end. So I get shorter and shorter as the evening goes on. Anyway, let's just try a couple. I'll come up here so you can see what's happening with my uke. Let's just try a couple of choruses, if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll twine with my mingles and raven black hair, with the roses so red and the lilies so fair, and the myrtle so bright with the emerald dew, the pale and the leader, and eyes look so blue. Keep it going, guys. I will dance, I will sing, and my laugh shall be gay. I will charm every heart, in each crown I will sway. When I woke from my dreaming, my idol was clay. All portion of love have flown away. Oh, he taught me to love him and promise to love, and to cherish me over all others above. How my heart now is wandering, no misery can tell. He's left me no warning, no words of farewell. Let's go. Oh, he taught me to love him and call me his flower, that was blooming to cheer him through life's dreary hour. How I long to see him regret the dark hour. He's gone and neglected his pale wildwood flower. Yeah, fantastic. I kind of have like the Carters singing that in my mind as I play it. I think it was Maybelline who did the singing, was it? I always get mixed up, but I'm probably getting that horribly wrong. So let's now have a look at the melody. I always start with the chords first, or the melody just individually, and then piece them together, because it kind of solidifies it all in your mind. So if you're ever working on an arrangement, that's a good thing to do. Even if you're desperate to get into the nitty-gritty of the melody and everything, I think it's a really positive thing to do. So let's have a look at what's happening with these notes. First time we pick them, I'm going to get you to finger pick these however you want. Okay, we'll look at technique a little bit later. So you can either pick these Pima style, where you just have the thumb picks any notes on the G string. I don't think there are any, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Index C string, middle finger E string, and ring finger A string. So you're just... Don't worry, I'm going to go over all this. You would pick it that way, or if you prefer, you can pick with your thumb. Or if you want, you could even go clawhammer style and pick with your nail coming into the ukulele. Okay, but my point is, for now, don't sweat about how you pick, because I just want you to learn the melody, whichever way is easiest to you. And we're going to learn how to finger pick this 2 different ways anyway, so don't sweat it at the moment. Just get a grip of this melody. You'll notice that it's relatively straightforward, this melody. We've got crotchets. They're the dotted notes with the flag going up. Just the stem, I should say. The flag's a bit off the top, so just the stem going up. Or we've got minims, which are the kind of hollow notes, if you like, with a stem going up. So crotchets and minims. So that means that we just have on the beat notes like this, just literally just that last for one beat. And then we have the hollow notes last for 2 beats, 1, 2. So if I was just clapping out the rhythm of this one, I would have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Do you see what I mean? So the solid ones would be quick, quick, and then the hollow ones, think of them as longer. Actually, I think of them as short and longer. That would be better. So short, short, longer, short, short, longer, short, short, longer. And almost all of them follow that pattern, don't they, in the first line? So let's look at what notes to pick. We're going to pick the E string for the first 3 notes, and we're going to pick an open E, followed by an F note, first fret of the E string, and then a G note here, 3rd fret of the E string. Now, you don't have to read sheet music to be able to do this, because you've got the tablature, which really, really helps. But I think it is really good to start trying to remember some of the note names, because it helps you with so many things later on. So think of this first bit as E, F, G. Okay, or 1, 2, 3. And again, you can think of it as short, short, longer. Okay, so that's coming after 2. 1, 2. Okay, and then we're going to hit an open A string, 3rd fret for a high C, and an open E string. That's like your next group of 3 notes. Off, 3, off. Sorry, I hit the wrong note. Off, 3, off. Okay, same rhythm. That's A, C, E. Let's put those first 6 notes together. 1, 2. Okay, and then F, E, that's 1, 0 on the E string. 2nd fret of the C string, open E, down to that 2nd fret again, and off to finish off. Now, generally, we try and keep our fingers in position. So in terms of your left hand if you're right-handed, or your right hand if you're left-handed, I guess, whichever finger's on the frets, okay? Try and keep the correct finger per fret. And that's really important. So as I play through those notes, if I just concentrate on this hand, it's relatively simple to just drop my finger down because it's already in the right place. If I try and do it with, say, one finger, see how much more work it is. So try and assign a fret per finger. 1st finger, 3rd finger because it's the 3rd fret. Same here. 1st finger, 2nd finger for the 2nd fret. Okay, just like so. So let's try that opening melody. So basically the first, we'll go along to the 3rd from last note. Okay, so almost the whole of the first line. Join in with me after 2. 1, 2. E, F, G, A, C, E, F, E, D, E, D, C, E, C. Just like a little echo, those last 2 notes at the end. Try that again. I'll do it with the numbers this time. 1, 2. Off, 1, 3. Next string. Off, 3. Back up. 0, 2. Sorry. 1, 0, 2. 0, 2, 0. Open E and C string. Okay, hopefully you've all got that. So we repeat that again. So notice we've got the 0, 1 at the end. Can you see that first repeat? that means that the first time we go back to the start again, we do the number one measure. The second time we jump to number two. So whenever you've got these numbers, you only ever play them once. So that one up there, you play that first time round. The second time you jump straight over it and go down here. And then the other thing to notice is that, can you see it's already got a 0, 1 at the end of the line? So we don't need to repeat that 0 line, 0, 1 right at the start, that E to F. It's a pickup measure. So basically, after you've done those last three notes we did, the open C, the open E, and the open C, we hit that 0, 1, E, F, and then we start on the second measure here. And we repeat the whole phrase all over again. And then we drop down to measure 7. All right, kind of ends up with you doing the same thing twice, basically. Let's give that a go. Come in with me after 1, 2. 1, 2. Rest. 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 And we go again. Off 1, 3. Now this time we jump right down to measure 7. Okay, how's everyone finding that so far? Have you got all that so far? Hi Carrie, hi Harry, good to see you again, mate. Hope you're doing well over there in Canada. Is it gone cold yet, or is it still nice out there? Hopefully it's still nice for you. So let's have a look at measures 7 to about 11. So like the next line down, basically. Now, for this one, you have to get a little bit crafty with your fretting fingers to make it easier. So can you see we've got that 3, 3, 7. Now, rather than using lots of different fingers, the easiest thing to do here is just put a mini bar, not like the one you get in hotel bedrooms, just instead of a full bar, just like a mini bar or a half bar like that, over the 3rd fret of the E and the A strings down the bottom like so, okay? Now that means Pam's with us in between squiggles. Love it. Nice one, Pam. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to hold down this shape and we're going to pick the E and the A strings. Now, if you can, see if you can reach up to 7 without letting go. If it's too big a stretch, particularly if you're playing tenor, you can let go and go up to it like this. But if you can, just keep it there. The reason being that the next 3 notes, if we have a look over here, are 7, 5, 3, and we can keep this finger down, add this one, and then come back here. Okay, so 3, 3, 7, 7, 5, 3. Okay, the notes that you're playing there are G, C, and then a high E, E, D, C. Okay, just coming down the C major scale basically there, which is really, really lovely. Let's give it a go. Still nice, but leaves are falling. Oh, that's great there, Harry. I love this time of year. You know I'm in the forest here at the moment. It's all gone orange. It's so beautiful. I love the vibrant green of the summer, but when everything turns orange, it's so lovely. I guess it's a bit like they get in New England. We're quite lucky because we have a lot of deciduous trees in the forest. It's beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's do that all together from the 2, 3 notes. That's measure 7. The last 2 notes, 3, 3, 7, come in after 1, 2. 1, 2. 7, 5, 3. And then if we're to keep going, we've got 3, 2, 0. Now this is a rare occasion where I'm going to break my own rules, and just because it's easier, I'm just going to move this finger back. 3, 2, off. And then I'm back to the usual way. 3 off. Just hit the C string and then bottom line here. Okay. All right, so not too bad, not too bad. Let's try that. Let's go right up to measure 12. We'll start at the end of measure 7 with those 2 3s. That's G and C. 1, 2. 3 2 off. Low C. Back to that G note. Okay. And then for the last line, we just finish it off with a nice C D. These are the 2 lowest notes in the C major scale. Open E. Then another long note. E G 0 3. Long one there. Open E. Long D note. E, D, and C to finish. All right. So that last bit from the last 2 notes in measure 12 will sound like this. Let's have a go at that all together. Coming after 1, 2. 1, 2. Fantastic. Now what I'd like to do is let's try putting the whole page together. So basically, in effect, what you're going to do is the first line twice and then the next 2 lines. So first line twice and then the next 2 lines. Just remember that you're only going to play that repeat measure with the 1 in it once. The second time you're going to skip right over that and go down to measure 7. So basically a second time through, you go from the end of measure 5 and jump straight into measure 7. Oh, very, very nice. Only 136 days until the palm trees, Harry's saying. There's only a few cabins left. So if you want to come cruising with us, get in touch with Donna and Harry. I'll do a proper plug at the break, but this is what we're talking about, the ukulele cruise. It's going to be just an amazing time. I can't wait. An amazing itinerary, brilliant people. And I'll teach you an absolute ton on ukulele. So you'll be a better ukulele player when you leave than when you arrived. But as I say, I'll talk about that more on the break. Okay, let's put the whole thing together then, guys. I'll come on close cam one more time. Remember, if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter one bit. This is all about learning techniques. Okay, so coming after 1, 2. 1, 2. To measure 2 now. Here it goes, measure 2. Now skip to measure 7. Here's measure 7. 3 3. Get that index. 7 5 3. 3 2 off. 3 off. And this G note, low C, G note again. Bottom line now, 0 2, C D, E, E, E G, E D, E D again. Fantastic, there we go, absolutely brilliant. Let me know how you got on with that, guys. So that's our basic melody to Wildwood Flower. Now it's important to note, if you want to be really, really kind of trying to think of the word say, I don't want to say anal because that sounds really kind of negative, but if you want to be really, I was going to say pedantic, but that's negative as well. I'm trying to think of a nice way of putting it. If you want to be really dedicated and play it exactly as is sung by, say, the Carter family, this is like the core melody. But of course, every time you do a verse, because of the amount of syllables in certain words, that melody will alter slightly. So it's up to you whether you play strictly these notes or whether you alter them slightly depending on verses. But I've just kept the basic melody there just to make things simple, just so you get it. It's nothing wrong with being pedantic anyway, right? So it's all good. Now, this time you play it, I want you to use a very specific technique, and I'm going to show you how to do it. This might be a little bit tricky for a few at first, but it's really great when you get it. Classical, that's a nice way of putting it, David. I like that. Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look at this technique on its own first. I'll come in on close camera again, try an angle. Now, this is really key to playing traditional clawhammer, whether it be banjo or ukulele. I am going to look at a different way of doing it in a minute, but this is the way I want to teach you because this is standard clawhammer. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand and you're going to put it into, just straighten it out, and then allow all of the tensions to go out your fingers so they just naturally fall into their natural position about here. That's tense. Let it go. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to curl the little finger, ring finger and middle finger in like this. You're going to curl the index finger a little, but can you see how it's sticking out just a touch? That's really important. That's going to help you with something in a minute. Now, I've got a long nail on mine, but you can do this with short nails as well. Don't panic about that if you've got a short nail as well. But basically, tucked those three in. This one's sticking out a bit. And imagine this is acting a little bit like your plectrum. You're actually going to come into the uke and you're going to ping the string with the nail side of that index finger. Okay. I'm going to see if I can get a better angle on that. Might mean me jumping about a little bit, coming closer, excuse me. Okay, so notice that as I'm coming in towards the ukulele, and then I'm just going to hit the A string open just to show you how to do this. Okay, now I like to do this above the sound hole. You will get a nice warm tone if you do it up here, but of course this is an old time technique anyway, so we want a bit more zing. So I come a little bit lower down. Okay. When we play up this end of the uke, we call it dolce, sweet. And this end is ponte, which means near the bridge. And that has a twangy sound. And just above the sound hole is just right. Now, the other thing to notice, if we're doing this traditional clawhammer style, notice that I'm knocking on the door. You might even get a bit of noise as your hand hits the uke, and that's absolutely fine. Okay. But the important thing to note is that I'm not doing this. I'm not picking the string and coming down. I'm actually picking in towards the ukulele. A tiny bit of downward movement at the end just to be able to ping the string. Okay. Give that a go with me. We'll just keep hitting that A string. The other thing to notice is that as I do this, the thumb is landing on that G string. That's going to be really important for the next part of clawhammer in a second. Okay. Now this is going to be really tricky the first time you do it, and you will miss a few notes. Even I do sometimes when I'm not concentrating, so don't sweat it, but just know that it's worth having a go. What I'd like you to do, after I've had a slurp of tea, excuse me. Oh, it's a nice Earl Grey. It's really refreshing. Okay, so what I want you to do is play through the melody again. Just think 3 notes at a time. But every time you pick a note with this hand, I want it to be the index finger coming down into the uke like this. Okay, so if I'll just get rid of this a little bit so you can see a little bit clearer what I'm doing. So the 0, 1, 3 at the start will look and sound like this. See how I'm coming into the uke with this hand? See, I missed one then, so it does happen sometimes. Okay, that would be your first 3 notes. Let's bring it up here. And then we're going to have a really nice off 3 on the A string. And then an open E. So notice this hand's still coming in and out the whole time, like this. Okay, see that? Have a go, guys, just whilst I'm just checking on the messages and everything. Have a little try that. You will. Indran is just asking, how do you manage not to either get stuck between the strings or try not to hit the adjacent strings? Some of it is practice, but it's okay to touch those adjacent strings because you're coming in towards the ukulele, Indrani, like this. Well, and for everyone, but because you're coming in towards the uke, you probably will hit the A string a little bit as you come down on the E string. But that's okay because you're not playing it. If I was going this way, I might accidentally hit two strings, right? But that's another reason why we're coming in. So as we pass over the E string, I actually end up almost like this finger is actually landing, onto the A string, the one nearest the floor, as it's picked that E string, like so. Yeah, fantastic. There we go. I love Earl Grey tea as well, Laura. I had some at Sam's when I was doing that little Somerset jaunt after the retreat with Jeff as well, as Sam yours, and it kind of reminded me how much I loved it. So I'm trying to drink a bit less caffeine as well. So it's still got caffeine in it, I know, but it's not quite as bad as coffee, is it? That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. Okay. All right, let's do that then. Let's try a whole line. Let's try the whole of that first line where we're coming in towards the strings for the notes. It will sound like this. Let's try it. Join in with me really slowly after 2. 1, 2. Off 1, 3. Off 3. A, C. Open E. F, E. That's 1, 0. Second fret for D. Open E. Second fret for D again. And off. Open E. Open C. Then we go again. Off 1, 3. That's E, F, G. A, C, E. 1, 0. That's F, E. Second fret for D. Off, D, and off. That's really good. Now measure 7. Let's do that mini bar and let's try that one. So 3, 3, 7. Then 7, 5, 3. 3, 2, 0. 3, 0. C, A. And this G. Hit the low C string. And back to the G. Then end measure 12, bottom line. 2 E's, nice long notes. E, G, 0, 3. Whoops, sorry, I hit a wrong string. Told you it might happen. E, D. And again. Okay, fantastic. Now, again, I can't say it's enough. That might take a fair bit of practice, but once you get that, you're halfway to getting Clawhammer, basically. Now, Clawhammer is based on what we often call the bum ditty. And it always makes people giggle when you say this, but at the moment you're doing all the bums, okay? This is the bum of the bum ditty. The reason we say bum ditty, it's like a phonetic thing, a bit like when I do walk running, when I explain strum patterns. Bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty. Notice that the first note, the bum, is a bit longer than the next two. Bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty. And that's exactly what's happening in Clawhammer. Basically what's happening is we're hitting a note, and that's for a beat, like this. And then the next beat, or the off beat, we're hitting a ditty. So you get this bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty. It's kind of the most important thing in Clawhammer. Now, if you want to practice that, I'm going to hold down a C chord whilst I do it, just so it sounds really nice. And I'll talk you through each of them. So that's it, nail down towards the floor, Laura, as you come in. So nail is hitting the E string. Let's try it on the E string. Okay. Like that. That's the bum. Then we're going to do what's often referred to as a brush. Keep your thumb up where it is. Try not to collapse it. Keep it up here. And for the brush, all you do is you hit all the strings, or even just 2 or 3 of them. You don't have to be too kind of pedantic about it. Okay, like that. So that's the dit of ditty. And the reason I'm leaving my thumb on the G string is for the T of ditty. I just take my thumb away. Now again, you don't need to do a big movement here because it takes your hand out of position. It's just coming away from the uke, so it's out rather than down. Okay, like this. So if I do those 3 in ultra slow-mo, it'll look like this. Here comes the bum, down, the brush, and away. And notice I'm coming in, down, away. In, down, away. Bum, ditty, bum, ditty. Try it a few times. Bum, ditty, bum, ditty. Okay. And what you can do is just gradually speed that up. Bum, ditty, bum, ditty, bum, ditty, bum. Notice that thumb, it's like I'm hitching a lift. It's always sat up there. So it's in the right place for that last part of the bum ditty as it comes out. If I collapse it, look, then I've got to do another movement to then be able to get it in place. So imagine someone's dipped this hand in hot iron and it's like set. You can't move it. Okay, just like that. Just like that. So that's your bum ditty. That's the general kind of bum ditty in Clawhammer. And if you can do that, you can get a long way in Clawhammer just doing that. This is one of my favourite mugs. It's actually Sharon's, but it's Yorkshire tea. And this lady was complaining that their tea wasn't made in Great Britain, which really made me laugh. And they just replied to her, Sue, you're shouting at tea. It's just great. That was a genuine tweet. Okay, right. So let's do this in the context of music next. Oh, Karen saying her low G booms at the brush. That's a really, really good point. Now, I generally play Clawhammer on a high G because the kind of ditty bit, it sounds a bit brighter when you do it, but you can do it low G. Aaron Kime sometimes plays it low G. But my advice for that would be as you brush down, try not to hit the G string with the nail of your index finger. Try not to make it too like that, where it's really harsh. If you kind of just pass over that G string with the nail back like this. So basically what I'm getting at, Karen, is rather than strumming down like this, try tucking it back so the strum's a bit more subtle. And then it will brush over the top of that low G. So you get this really nice light strum. And that'll get away from the booming low G if that's troubling you. So yeah, bit of experimentation, but you'll get it. Totally agree, Pam. Totally agree. Or if I'm feeling posh, I'll have Whittards. But yeah, there we go. All right then. So let's put that into context. If we have a look at the second sheet now, you'll notice it looks slightly different because we've got the ditties put in. Basically, I know it sounds crazy, right? But basically the bums are all the same. Okay, so that's bum, 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 bum. bum. Okay, so that's exactly the same as normal. The only difference is now we've got these little ditties. Bum, 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 ditty, bum, 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 ditty, bum, 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 ditty, bum, 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 ditty, bum, ditty, bum, ditty. And you can always spot the ditties. If I bring this really big and we look at the second measure, because you'll always have these notes in this way where you'll have three notes that it could be a certain amount of notes, but off 1 3, that's bum bum bum, E F G, and then the gap is filled in. You'll notice there's at least three strings being played. That's the brush, and then you'll notice there's just a string open, and that's just your G string. So whenever you see Clawhammer like this, it can look overwhelming, but just think of that as bum 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 ditty. Okay, so that those opening 4 bits, just bum 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 ditty. I'll show you what I mean. It's easier if we actually play it. So let me just make that a bit smaller so you can see what I'm doing. That should do it. Okay. So what we're going to do now, after the opening 3 notes, which are off 1 3, what we're going to do is we're going to brush down and hit that G string. So that's your ditty. Brush out. Ditty, ditty. Okay. So that will look and sound like this. Okay. Let's try that all together. Bum, 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 ditty. And again. Bum, 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 ditty. Okay. Now don't sweat too much about just strumming 3 strings when you do that brush down. That can get really tricky, and you don't need to be that careful with it. In fact, what I'll often do on this opening bit is put 2 fingers down here. One on the 3rd fret of the E string, because that's your 3rd note. And then I'll put this finger here, so when I strum down on the dit, it covers that A string with a C chord, so it sounds nice if you do strum a little bit too far. Okay, so that will look like this. Just move this side just for a sec. Let's do that together after 2. 1, 2. Bum, 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 ditty. And again. 1, 2. Bum, 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 ditty. Watch that hand. Make sure that thumb's not coming down. 1, 2. And that's it. That's the essence. Now, obviously, later on, you'll speed that up. But just for now, you can go nice and slowly. And as I say with everything, if you can play it slow, you can play it quick. It's just a matter of practice. And that's really true. Honestly, it really is. So that's basically the first 4.5 notes, if you like. That's your off 1 3, and then the brusher, if you like, or the ditty. Okay. So what we're going to do with the next part is exactly the same. So if we look at the last 2 notes on measure 2, which is off 3, that's an A and a C. We're going to do those but as the same as before, because that's your bom bom, bom bom. Keep your finger here, and when you hit the E string, do a little ditty. So that's your next 4 and a bit notes. We go A, C, E, ditty. Or you can think of that as off 3, open E, ditty. Okay. I'll put together the first two parts. So right from the top, it'll look and sound like this. Okay. Really nice, right? And again, you can practice that really slow. You could go even slower. And then every day you practice, can go a little bit faster. Now, I'm not expecting you to go that fast at the start. That would be crazy. If you can, that's absolutely amazing, but not expecting you to go that fast. Take your time with it. Now, the other rule of Clawhammer, which is really, really important, is that we want to keep chords down as much as possible and really kind of make a mental note of this when we do the next section. Now, if I was to do this just using the tablature, kind of one kind of note at a time, if you like, you might presume that it would look something like this, particularly if you look at my left hand as I go. Okay, but actually what I want you to do is as you play that one off end of measure 3, that F-E, when you hit this next note, which is this D note, I want you to put a G7 down. How do we know it's a G7 chord? Well, if you look above, up here, it says it. Okay, so whichever kind of chord you want to stay on is indicated at the top, all right? So as you do these next 3, you're going to hit 1, 0, that's F-E. And then as you hit this 2, the D note, put a D7 down. And then you've got your ditty. Now, the reason I do that is if I can strum as many strings as I want and I don't have to be really accurate. If I just put this finger down, look what happens when I strum. I get a horrible sounding chord, right? Because it's not a G7. Whereas if I put the whole shape down, sounds great. I could even strum all 4. And it still sounds good. So that's really key. I can't say that enough. Try and keep these chord shapes down as much as possible as you play the notes. It's really, really key. So as I do the next 3 notes, which is the off 2 at the end of measure 4, that E, D, that's 0, 2, it will look like this. And then when I hit these next few, all the zeros, I'm going to put my finger down on a C and I'm going to keep it there as I hit the next few. Then if I accidentally strum all 4, sounds good, right? It doesn't sound like a C6, it sounds like a C chord. So that's really key. Try and do that as much as possible. Keep those shapes down. So what I'll do is I'll play through the first line and a half, basically the opening section, the first 6 measures. I'll go really nice and slow, and you can either play along, or if you don't feel ready to, just kind of absorb it as much as you can. I'll move that over a little bit. Okay, I'm coming on close cam so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. Do that again. Notice I'm putting a C chord down. C chord's still there. G7 chord goes down. And C chord goes down. Okay, let's try that really slowly after 1, 2. Come in and join in with me. I'll go a bit slower, okay? 1, 2. Ditty, ditty, G7 shape, ditty, C shape, ditty. Let's do that again. Really sweet, right? It sounded really nice, isn't it? Now again, take a lot of time. Indrani was just saying her brains is going kaplooey. That's a good. I like that phrase, kaplooey. I'll use that. So it can take a bit of getting used to, because you kind of you're kind of, your mind's almost having to do two things at once. It's a bit like patting your head and rubbing your tummy at the same time, as people say. It can take a bit of getting used to. The thing that I find really helps, I'm trying to think if I can bring my iPad on screen. Let me see if I can show you something quickly. Let's see, give me just a sec. Yeah, I can. Okay, right. Just going to try and move it this way so it makes more sense. There we go. Let's get rid of that. You can see my old desktop. That's old, isn't it? I've not even had the Ute Room in a while. Right, let me bring up the sheets on here. Now, what I will do sometimes with my sheets is I'll really kind of, to help students concentrate, what I'll often do is I'll just circle, say, the ditties like this. So I'll take a highlighter and I'll just literally just put these in like this. I probably should have done this on the sheets myself, really. It would have probably helped. It would have been a cool way to do it. So for future reference. Okay, now I'm going to keep this up on the screen. I know you can't see me for a little bit, but notice how that really helps your head space, because if you just play the notes that aren't highlighted, okay, we're going to completely ignore the highlighted. That gives you your melody, which we did from the start, right? Okay. And it's just a mental thing. I think it makes it much easier, because now I can think I'm going to play the first three notes. Ditty. Next three notes. Ditty. Next three notes. Ditty. Next three. And then note, ditty. Note, ditty. Note, ditty. Okay. Because when we're learning music, I think like 99% of it is kind of psychological, isn't it? You kind of, it just helps you not to overthink things. And it's really important to help yourself like that. Thanks, Laura. Yay! So you might want to do that with your own sheets later on. You can either go old school, use a highlighter pen, or you can do it on your iPad. I use the old, the highlighter on here. See down the bottom, you've got all these different pens on your iPad. I just do that, and I use a highlighter, which is great. Just makes everything a lot clearer. So if I go back to the original, just so you can see what I mean, and I can play it whilst you can see my fingers. I come in on close camera again. Okay, so psychologically, remember, I'm thinking note, note, note. No, no. Oh, hang on, I need to put it on the second sheet. Sorry, guys. I'm thinking note, note, note. Ditty. And then note, note, note. Ditty. Note, note, note. Ditty. And then note, note, note. Ditty. Like so. And then all you've got to remember then is to put those shapes down. Da, da, da. 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 Like so. Okay. When you speed it up, it sounds A, so I'm not expecting you to go this fast. Sorry, I'll do that again. You can kind of see how Clawhammer gets its name like that, can't you? Clawhammer. it's that hammer sort of after each piece, which is really, really, really nice. Works great. So let's have a look at the next section. We'll go nice and slowly again. What you might want to do on Indrani is when you practice this on your own, is just practice the claw bit first with the melody and then put the chords in afterwards. But eventually you do want to get those chords down as much as possible. Okay. So let's have a look at the second section from here then. So again, same principle. What I could do, just to show you ever so quickly, is I could do the same thing here. Let's bring it up. And I could do exactly the same thing I was just saying in this section, where I just highlight the ditties again. Can you see how they look like an L shape if I really highlight that? So you can really separate them out from the normal melody notes, if you like. Okay, come back here to normal one. So the next section, we're going to put our fingers down in the right place again. Let's have a look. Where is it? Sorry, guys, just trying to get it to behave. Right, here we go. Okay, so we're going to go from the 2 3s on the second line. Remember, you're going to put your finger down like this, just to cover the G and the C note, like so. Then if you can reach up to 7 and keep this down, that's fantastic. I'll ping 7 and strum. Okay. Now, even though the tablature doesn't tell you to put that finger down, it tells you to play it like this. It works perfectly fine with your finger kept down, just so you know. All right. So that would be like this. No, 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 ditty. And then we come back, 7 5 3. Ditty. 3 2 off. Remember, I'm just going to use this first finger. Now, if you look really carefully at that one, that ditty at the end there on the F, notice that the note on the G string is a 2. All the others we've had a 0, haven't we? And that's just because when you hold down an F chord, this finger is on the 2nd fret, right? So that's why you've got a 2 there after the chord in the ditty, basically. I'll stay on this little tiny bit of camera down the edge so you can see. So I've got 3 2. Off, hold down an F, and ditty. That gives you your next bit. The brilliant thing that I like about this section of the song is when you go to that F chord, you can buy yourself a little bit of time by just hitting the open A beforehand. I'll show you what I mean. So if I do that 3 2 off again, I don't need to get the F down straight away. I can play the open A first, there, and then get the F down in time. It'll look like this. Okay. So let's try it from that mini bar again. 1 2 7 ditty 7 5 3 ditty 3 2 off, open A, and F chord ditty. Nice. And then we can just hit this 3 off at the end there. And at measure 11, I like to put 2 fingers down for this C chord. And I hit the E string, C string, E string. Okay. So I basically don't have to do anything with this hand after I've put these 2 fingers down. That's measure 11. And then C, D, off 2. Put a C chord down here if you can. Little pause, and then right at the end we have an open E. We're going to put a G7 down because it's telling us to, and we're going to hit this string, ditty, and then off 2. I just lift up briefly, and then C at the end. So that last little bit will be sound like this. Okay. again, you can do exactly the same thing with your sheet if you would like to. So on this bottom line, we could do the same thing again. I forgot a couple of ditties here that you can see as well, just on the repeats. But if I come down to that bottom line, I could do the same thing here. Look, there's a ditty here, 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 here. And if you forget this and you really want to copy exactly what I do, you can pause the video at that point and just literally just copy down this sheet that I've got. So you can quite clearly see there the notes in between your melody. And then if you put your ditties in, ditty, 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 and the finish. Okay, so like that, which is really, really sweet. Okay, so that's basically that's the kind of rudimentary kind of thoughts of how to do Clawhammer. Basically, remember that the main thing in terms of the mechanics is to think about you coming in towards the string and hitting it with your nail, and then for the next brush stroke you've got to keep that thumb where it is, and then down and off. So bum, ditty, bum, ditty, bum, ditty, bum, ditty. Sometimes it's worth just practicing that round again and again to get it. All right. So that Wayne's saying, I'm glad this came up because I forgot to toast. Wayne's saying sometimes he gets a thin sound with the nail of his index finger on the melody notes. That's the only problem with Clawhammer, I think, Wayne, is that if you've got a short nail, as it hits the string, what will happen is the nail will pass off your nail and onto the pad of your finger, and that will muffle it slightly. So if you do find that, what you might have to do, what you can do is just angle ever so slightly out more so you get more nail. Because I've got that long nail, I can come in like this. But what you might need to do is just angle your hand so you've got slightly more downward movement. And then you can hit that string and come away. But the other thing to do is to actually think about helping yourself out. So if you can grow your nails. That would be one way of doing it, but I know that's easier said than done. Notice mine are all curved to give a nice kind of warm sound. And I only grow out my first 3 fingers because this little one I don't use very much for kind of finger style. But there is something else. I'm trying to see if I'm just wondering if I've got one in my drawer. Probably not. I sometimes have one around. But what you can buy is little. No, I can't see any little thumb plectrums or thumb picks, which and finger picks that will actually go over your finger. Just gonna have a quick check up here to make sure. I've normally got some around because I do wear them sometimes. If you've ever seen Phil Dolman playing, you might have seen him with some of these. But all they are, they're little they're little circles with a pick on the end, and they basically replace your nails. So you just stick them on the end of your fingers, and that will allow you to get that sound. The nice thing is, because you're only going to use it on your index fingers, you only need to wear one for Clawhammer. Just put it on your index finger, and then the rest you're doing as normal. You don't need one on your thumb necessarily. You can do, but you don't necessarily need it. So just look them up. There's various brands. There's one called Alaska Picks, which a lot of people use, but you can find them all over the place. But yeah, that's definitely worth looking out for and getting yourself a couple of those. They're quite inexpensive, so I recommend just trying a few and see what you think works for you. They do come in different sizes as well for different size fingers, so probably go for the medium and start from there and go bigger or smaller. Rebecca, yeah, that's a really important point. So Rebecca was just saying, and Laura, yeah, you're dead right. Phil Dorman definitely does use them, yeah. Rebecca was just asking, she's correct in noticing we're playing more over the sound hole than over the fretboard. And yeah. Oh, yeah, Aaron Kime uses them as well. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, totally. Because not everyone can grow their nails. Sometimes they break off. I've been doing a lot of gardening. I was so careful yesterday. I planted over 800 bulbs. I'm not making that up, honestly. I decided I want to turn my lawn into a crocus lawn. So I planted I think it was like 400 or 500 crocuses, and then I've added daffodils and snake's head for fritillaries and all sorts. So I wore gardening gloves, but I was so nervous every time I was lifting up the turf and stuff. I was thinking, please don't snap. But yeah. Kevin, my best tip, you might have some of you might have heard me mention this before, but my best tip for hardening nails is twofold. First of all, don't use nail hardeners. The nail hardeners that you buy from the chemists, what they generally do is they actually make your nail more brittle, and I find they can be the worst. I tried using nail hardeners and my nails just started crumbling away. Likewise, super glue, if you get a catch and you lose a little bit of your nail, sometimes people recommend putting super glue on to kind of keep it in place and then keep playing. Again, super glue just molecularly, is that a word? On a molecular level, super glue actually breaks down the keratin in your nails, and it's really not good for them. They'll just crumble away, right? So I try and avoid hardeners. And then, cheers, Harry. Take care, buddy. See you again soon, mate. See you again soon. We'll have to have a catch up soon. And so what I do is I actually put a little bit of moisturizer, believe it or not, on my fingers. I use just like it could be any kind of moisturizer. I often just use the cocoa butter stuff. And you'd think that would make them really soft, but it doesn't. It just means they have a little bit of flexibility. And that actually means that as your nails pass over the string, they have a warmer tone, which is really, really nice. If you do get a nick in the side of your nail, honestly, the best thing is just to file it down and start again. It happens and it's heartbreaking, but you'll get a stronger nail if you just take it off and let it regrow from nothing, than trying to fix it. The other thing is, yeah, I know it sounds obvious, but wear gloves when you're gardening and stuff. I always do. It's easy to forget about it. But my other tip, I'll try and show you with a book or something, because otherwise you won't be able to see what I'm doing. But oh, here we go. I've got a nice music box that I was using for something. Now, do you remember in old movies and stuff, when you had receptionists on the desk and they had long nails, they often did this. I know it kind of drives you mad, right? But it's a really clever way. Sorry, it's very dusty on top of this. It's actually an old music box my granddad made for me many, many years ago. When you hammer your nail on a desk, it kind of compresses the nail slightly, and apparently it's an old secretary's trick for hardening nails. It drives people mad because you get this constant noise in the background, but it's another little trick for hardening nails if you want to try it. I find it works anyway. So yeah. Healthy hoof. Used for horses, protein for their hooves or human nails. There we go. There's probably something you should eat as well, isn't there, to help keratin grow? Is it carrots or something? I don't know. But yeah, there we go. Okay, let's just take a quick break, because Harry's just reminded me, because he's got to head off, that I didn't do my normal break where I told you what's coming up and everything, just in case you missed the start. So if you did miss the start, we've got another live lesson coming up. Beautiful 8-bar blues piece, Trouble in Mind. If you haven't heard it before, look up Johnny Cash's version. It's not the original, but oh my gosh, it's so good. And we're going to do 8-bar blues, but also I'm going to show you different finger picking patterns that you can use for it, which is going to be loads of fun. And then just a reminder that we'll be back for Canacapila Mondays, and we're going to do Canacapila Mondays every Monday from now on. So this is our last Melodic Monday for a while, but I'm going to find other ways to bring chord melody into my teaching. So don't worry, you won't miss out. And then finally, come and join me in the Caribbean. I promised I'd tell you about it, and then I didn't. So we're setting sail in February next year, and we basically visit some beautiful Caribbean islands. We sail out Fort Lauderdale, a lovely hotel right at the start, right from the off, with a swimming pool, just brilliant. And then we have sea days where I teach you ukulele. So we tend to have a lesson in the morning, a lesson in the afternoon. We have open mic slots, all sorts. And then in the evening, unofficially, I tend to teach again because we all get together and jam, and I'll do some unofficial teaching in the evening on the deck as well. And we're going to St. Kitts, Antigua, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and back again. So you get loads of opportunity for teaching and enjoying yourself. It's going to be really wonderful. If you're interested, just get in touch with Donna. That's Harry, who joins us in our sessions. That's his wife. So Donna and Harry. So if you email Donna at dcurtis@balnet.ca, she'll send you everything you need to know to register. So come along soon. There's a few cabins left, and we want to make sure we fill them all up and get as many of you wonderful people along as possible. Oh, Karen's just asked me to mention we've revised the scales reference book for Canacapila. So you know the book that has all our scales in, blues scales, pentatonics and stuff. We've updated that. So tomorrow I'll be putting the advert out for Canacapila for next week, and I'll put a link to the new one. So if you've got your scale reference book and you'd like to update it, click on there, and there's a couple of corrections, and it looks really, really neat as well. So yeah. David was just asking, the boom is hit, not a rest stroke. That's a really interesting question, David, because it's kind of like a reverse rest stroke. So when you're doing the booms, the down picks for the melody, the reason I say it's a bit like a rest stroke is, you know how rest strokes, you pull up and you rest on the string above. You can kind of do that with these. So if I'm hitting the E string, I'll actually rest that nail on the A string. It's a reverse one, right? Because a rest stroke you would pick up, whereas this one we're going down, but I do still rest it very lightly on the string below. Obviously you can't do that on the A string. You just pick in and allow your hand to come towards the ukulele like so. Now, let's do one more thing. Let's get back to it, and let's do one more thing that I wanted to show you. This is my way of playing, kind of the way I like to play clawhammer style stuff. But also, it's just a really nice technique for you to learn. A lot of people prefer it over clawhammer on the ukulele because it sounds a little bit less harsh, and it's quite clever as well, the way it works. So at first glance, you might think, oh, this is just like clawhammer with up picks, because that's going to be the main thing, right? But actually, if I flick between the two, notice there's a lot more going on. You can kind of physically see those notes showing. But again, it's not as complicated as it looks. I'll talk you through it step by step. Thanks, Pam. Thank you. See you again soon. Let us know how you're getting on with that uke. Hopefully you got to play a bit tonight with it, which is really exciting. Okay, so this is my style. Now, in essence, I'm doing a couple of things with this style. I'll just move this for a sec. I'll go over it in detail in a minute. The first thing I'm doing in my style is that the melody notes, the ones I was just telling David about, instead of doing your claw pick like this, I'm actually going to pick upwards with my index finger. Okay. So there's no more hammers. Excuse me. This is an up pick. Okay. Which softens everything up. Okay. But here's the super clever thing, and this is I love doing it this style. There's a really clever thing you can do where you can get all these notes to come out with little movement. See if you can clock what I'm doing. I'll move this out the way and I'll come in on close camera. Let me just bring my sheet up so you can see it. So I can see it rather. So notice as I play this way, I'll play it in slow motion. The key thing I really want you to notice is notice that my hand is just coming up and down the whole time. The reason I love this is when you play it super fast, you get loads of notes coming through really easily and quickly, and it sounds really effective, but actually your arm is just going up and down. And it acts like a metronome. So I'll teach you how it works. It's really, really good fun. It takes a bit of practice, right? So let's have a try of just an exercise first. What I want you to do is practice picking the E string with your index finger. And as you pick it, move your hand up afterwards. Okay. So you're not going to pick out this time, you're just going to pick a slight up. And then what I'd like you to do after that is I would like you to strum down to it. Like this. Join in with me. Off, strum, off, strum, off, strum, off, strum. Okay. Now what I want you to do is after your first pick, as you come down, I want you to put your first finger on your fretting hand on the first fret of the E string for an F note here. So that will sound like this. Do it with me. Fantastic. Next up, I want you to put your finger on the third fret of that E string and I want you to pick upwards. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to pick up, down, up, down. Okay, let's do it together. 1, 2. And again, 1, 2. Okay, now that is actually the first bit of the song. If I bring in my iPad, that's this bit here. If I just highlight it in red this time so you can see it. So we've gone to there. If I go to my yellow highlighter, you can see I've still got my ditty. Okay, so basically we're going up pick, down strum, up pick, down strum. But notice our fingers hitting the melody note at the same time. Let's try that. I'll bring the score on. Third page. This is the third page in your score. There we go. Just the first bit. Okay. Move it over so you can see it. Okay. So that's the very first bit. Let's give it a try. 1, 2. And again. 1, 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put that ditty back in. That's the yellow bit here. So after I do that last down strum, I'm going to touch the G string. That's the only difference. Up, down, up, ditty. Okay, let's try that. I'll show you just without the sheet music first. Okay, let's bring it on. Let's give that a try, just the first bit. 1, 2. Okay, so now we've got up, down, up, ditty. Okay, And that's the basic technique. What's happening in effect is that I'm hitting melody notes on the offbeat with a strum, so it just keeps everything going the whole time. It's quite tricky, but again, with practice you'll get there. I just forgot that I don't know if I actually addressed Rebecca's one from earlier, because I think I got distracted. The reason we're picking over the sound hole, Rebecca, and it is important, sometimes you'll see my hand come up here on the video, it look like I'm picking up here, but it's only so I can squeeze into this little tiny gap I've got for the camera because of the score over here. But yeah, I want you to really do this over the sound hole, because then you can dig in and it's got a crisper sound. All right, just so you know, I just thought I'd address that. It's really important. Okay, so that gives us our first bit. It'll look and sound like this. And then we just keep that technique going for the whole thing. So I pick an open A up, strum down with these two fingers, pick an open E, and then we've got another ditty, haven't we? So if I put those together from the start. Okay. The next bit, I go from F to an open E, so I'm picking up on this one. As I put my G7 chord down, I'm picking up, ditty. I let go just to get this open E, down on a G7, and then C chord, up ditty, up ditty, up ditty. Okay, really, really sweet. If I just play through that really slowly so you can see it, I'll stay on close cam, okay? I'll do that one more time, a bit more over here so you can see my hand. Okay, if you want to try, come in after 1, 2. 1, 2. Up, down, up, ditty, up, down, up, ditty, up, down, up, ditty, up, down, up, ditty, up, ditty, up, ditty again. Whoops. Sorry guys, I went wrong. Okay, really sweet, isn't it? Just show you at tempo. It'll sound quite different because I'll speed it up a bit. Notice you have that melody coming through, but you also get the chords, but the arm is just going up and down the whole time. I'll just show you the rest of that arrangement just so you can see it, and that it's possible this would be a step too far at the moment, but I just wanted to show you this style in case anyone was interested in the way I played and if you wanted to have a go. So again, don't sweat it, but let me show you. Let's have a look at the second section. So we're going to keep that technique going. We're going to hold down this finger for the 0033 chord, C5 in effect. And you're going to keep that going. So we're going to pick up and down strum. You're going to put your little finger on here and pick up and down strum. And then just touch that ditty afterwards. So up, down, up, ditty. And then we kind of come back down again. We pick 7, 5, 3, ditty, 3, 2, off, ditty, 3, and then off, and then we go to the C shape here, last line now. We pick up on an open C, G7 chord, really important, just for that B, off, ditty, G7 chord again here, and then just 2 at the end. There we go, really nice, really nice. Thanks, Indrani. Indrani finds this way a bit easier. It's interesting, some people find this a real head mess and other people find it a lot easier. It's kind of funny, isn't it? I think maybe it's like that left brain, right brain thing. I don't know. It's once you get into the groove of it, it's great though, because your hand just keeps going up and down, which is really nice. I'll play the whole thing for you just so you can hear it. I won't go crazy fast though. Sorry. Oh, sorry guys, I completely lost it then. You get the idea. Sorry, I went a little bit. My brain always goes a bit haywire at the end of Melodic Mondays and Canacapilla. It's interesting. A lot of you are finding that technique a bit easier. I like it as well. It's kind of easier to pick, isn't it? And I love the way it keeps you in time. The other thing is, it's one of those weird ones where it's really nice to listen to as well, because it sounds like there's 2 ukes. I'll show you what I mean. If you have a listen, see if you can catch this kind of, it's almost like a drone chord coming down on every offbeat like this. Just kind of constant. That kind of constant just coming down, and it's tricky, but it sounds really effective, which is really nice. So there you go, folks. It's basically 2 different ways, or 3 if you include the kind of strumming and kind of playing just the melody. I guess you could even call that 4 different ways of playing Wildwood Flower, which is really nice. I do this technique on all sorts, really. I quite like, I've got I'll Fly Away, which I'll... Sounds really nice now, Fly Away. It works really well on that one. You get that constant chunk, chunk coming down. If you want to learn that one, I have actually got that on my website, I'll Fly Away. I did a whole live lesson on it. I think there's a lesson on the on one of the courses as well. I think it might be on the fingerstyle course. Yeah, it's on the fingerstyle course where you can learn how to play that. I've got the exact arrangement, so you can do it for all sorts of old time songs. Just kind of have a muck about and see what works, and really good for the key of C because you get those open C chords which sound absolutely fantastic. Yeah, like a mountain dulcimer. Yeah, I love that sound. It's kind of like the sound of old time for me. Really great. I love these old instruments. It's brilliant. Every time I get into this, I think, oh, I should take up banjo again. But I'm going to stick to ukulele and guitar. I can cope with two instruments. One point, I decided I was going to learn clarinet, nothing to do with old time. But it's that classic. I always say you shouldn't be a musical magpie, but sometimes I'm a bit like that. It's like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And actually, you realise, no, I'm going to get good at that first before I do that. That's the way to do it. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you found that really interesting and enjoyable. Again, I'm not abandoning chord melody, so don't panic. We're just going to go back to Canna on Mondays rather than Melodic Mondays and Canna. But we'll be back to doing chord melody on the Wednesday fortnightly lessons, but also on all my courses and stuff. Of course, if you enjoy the chord melody side, check out my fingerstyle course because there's an absolute ton of chord melody on there. My Beatles course is full of chord melody and fingerstyle pieces. And my next steps and intermediate courses. So check them out. There's quite a lot on there. You'll find all sorts of stuff. Yeah, David, I love a bit of banjolele. This works brilliantly on banjolele because it has that kind of aggressive tone, which can be really nice with Clawhammer. So yeah, absolutely. It's another excuse to buy another ukulele, right? But I think everyone should have a go on a banjolele, absolutely, because it's so much fun as well, which is really great. Thank you, everyone. I know I say this, I feel like a broken record sometimes, but I just wanted to say thank you for all your support, guys. It's been so much fun doing all these live lessons with you guys. It's been absolutely fantastic. Pete's bought himself a banjolele. That is so cool. I absolutely love that. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. There's a guy called Phil Cartwright who makes banjo ukuleles in the Forest of Dean. Not to be confused with Phil Davidson, who's made lots of ukes with me, but he's this famous kind of banjo uke builder. Does a lot of the Formby style stuff. Thanks, guys. Thank you. But yeah, massive thank you for all your support. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to find my website, just put in, it's easy to remember now. We've made it simpler. learnukulele.com. It's that simple. learnukulele.com. And there you'll find my 10 courses. I've got 10 of them now. 3 core ones, beginners, intermediate, next steps. And then we've got uke theory with music theory. We've got jazz and blues. We've got the Beatles on uke, all sorts of stuff. There's a dedicated baritone ukulele course if you're interested. Plus uke TLC, how to look after your uke, playing up the dusty end, much more. So check it out if you can. You can send me questions. You can do video submissions as well. All sorts of stuff. So check it out. I've looked for Matt Stead Ukulele or just learnukulele.com and you'll find it all there. Okay then, folks. Well, I will see you next Monday where we'll be back for a good old Canna and we're going to have a look at some REM songs, one of my favourite bands. And as always with Canna, we'll do some deep cuts as well as the big hits that everyone knows. So I think you'll really, really enjoy that. That's going to be next Monday at 6 o'clock. And then don't forget, next week you can join me for a finger picking lesson with Trouble in Mind, which should be fantastic. Take care, everyone. Well, uke on, enjoy your uke. If you do have a go at this one and you feel like you're getting it, or even if it's a work in progress, post it to our Facebook group. It would be really nice to see it. So if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, it's completely free to join. You can post videos and ask questions. Just go to Learn Ukulele with Matt, and there's a little one called Student Community, and you can join in there. All right, everyone, I'm rambling now, so I will love you and leave you. I'll see you next Monday for a nice bit of REM. Take care, everyone. Bye.